Tell me the difference between peaceful and violence. Hello, I'm Susan David. I see with my own eyes daily, nightly, as I watch the news, violence. And I hear the labeling of the violence, it's being called peaceful, such as a peaceful protest. Do I need my head examined? Do I not know the difference between what's peaceful and what's violent? No, I know the difference. I'm asking you listening to me, do you know the difference? See, I was led to watch a short video of a lady who just lost her husband in a violent act. He was killed because he stepped up to protect a local business, and for that he died. His wife spoke out, and she said his life was senselessly taken. Yes. Then she said, it must have been God's plan. What? No, lady. What kind of a God would promote violence such as this? This evil was done by Satan and his ilks, not God. Don't blame God. You know, I love all races, black, brown, yellow, white, you name it. I love them. And guess what? So does God. It was God who created all kinds of people for his delight and pleasure. And not one race to God is preferred over the other. Not one. Now, some listening have secretly concluded in your heart many years ago that perhaps you were created less than someone else. It's not true. But you unfortunately came across someone, let's say an insecure bigot who perhaps said something unkind to you, maybe either regarding your race or maybe your capabilities, and you were traumatized. You see, words and even actions can hurt. You thought about it over and over, and the hurt went so deep, you actually felt God must have made a mistake. Well, let me tell you, God doesn't make mistakes. People do. And after God made you, friend, after he made you, he threw away the mold. Why? Because he only wanted one as beautiful and perfect as you. And he gave you capabilities, he gave you abilities, and he gave you gifts, talents, that quite frankly, he didn't give exactly in that way or in that manner to others. No. So you are unique. It doesn't matter that all people walking the earth don't see that. It does matter that you know it. And I'm telling you, the devil wants you down on yourself, and I want you up. And so does God. Now, I want to share something personal about me, so you'll understand a little bit more about the gist of this message, because it's not about race. It's about truth. So many people want to constantly make everything about race. When I was in the 5th and 6th grade, my very closest friends were two black girls. We were tight friends, and I'll never forget the good times that we had together. We did everything together. My youngest daughter is married to a black man. They've been married for over 15 years, and he's one of the best things that's happened to this family. He's extremely good to her. He's faithful. He's funny, and we love him. And some of my favorite people are Hispanic. They're good people, family-oriented. I love Hispanics. My husband and I, we attended a Chinese church for over 5 years, many years ago. I love the Chinese. Very generous, loving people. Listen, I love all races, and so does God. He made all of us. He has a tremendous, wonderful imagination. Now that I've established that I'm not prejudiced and that this message here is not about race, I want to ask you something very important. Do we share the same definition of peaceful? Because this is important. Do we share the same definition of violence? Because unless you're 5 years old, do I really need to get out the dictionary and give you a definition of either? I think not. This message is about the difference between what's peaceful and what's violent. Because what I see and hear on the news is extremely violent. Riots, destruction of property, businesses, mayhem, shootings, murder, and these things are being labeled as peaceful demonstrations or peaceful protests. Would you, friend, want those things done to you in the name of peace? Next, play along with me just for a minute. What I'm going to ask you to do, I want you to ask yourself, are you labeling these things correctly or incorrectly by chance? Because if you're labeling the recent riots as peaceful, as many of our leaders are, and some in the media, then you need to choose between one of the following. Either A, B, or C. Now listen closely. Here's A. If you think these riots are peaceful, and you're saying that out of a need, I'm going to just come out with it. You're saying that out of a need to be accepted by a certain group of people or an organization. Okay, you're after acceptance. You want to fit in. You know it's a lie, but you don't care. Okay, that's the first choice. Or, if you agree that these riots are peaceful, you may pick B. Here's B. You're saying they are peaceful, but you're saying it due to fear. Oh, I'm just scared to death not to agree with them. They may come after me or not respect me. You see, you're bound by a spirit of fear and a spirit of lying, which goes right along with it. Or C, you are labeling incorrectly because you have blinders on and you truly do not know the difference between right versus wrong, the holy from the profane. So, if you truly do label these riots as peaceful demonstrations, then when you see people's lives being destroyed, their property burned to the ground, stabbings, killings, people being taken to the hospital or the morgue, this is peaceful to you? Really? Well, if so, then let me take this one step further. Go with me to Romans chapter 1, because if you've never read any other part of the Bible, at least let's read this one chapter. Let me go over that for your sake. You see, many tell lies and then they look you straight in the eye and they just lie their head off, thinking that you're so dumb that you'll fall for it. When you know someone is lying, call them on it. Let's start in verse 18. It says, "But God shows his anger from heaven against all sinful, evil men who push away the truth from them. For the truth about God and these things is known to them," listen, "instinctively." In other words, when they stand before God, and they will, we all will, they will have no excuse for lying. Listen to this next part. For God has put this knowledge in their hearts. He put truth in their hearts. God did it. So when they say peaceful, they know they're lying. Verse 22, the result, their foolish minds became dark and confused. You see, claiming themselves to be wise without God, they became utter fools instead. Read on, verse 25. Verse 25 says that they deliberately chose to believe lies. Friend, are you choosing to believe fools rather than your own lies, your own instinct, and your own discernment? Someone said silence is not an option. No, it's not. But accepting lies when your eyes, ears, and heart tell you otherwise is dangerous. Be careful. But you say, but Susan, if these leaders say it's peaceful, then I guess I missed something. No, stop. If they want to look and sound like a fool, don't you join them. There's a hidden agenda in all this. Look, there was an old saying that said, it'll all come out in the wash. So just wait and keep praying. God's not dead. He watches, and soon he will answer. I'm begging you, take notice about how you label people and how you label peace versus violence, because I can guarantee you God is watching, and soon He'll not be silent any longer. You who do these things will be accountable for your own words and your own actions or inactions. I'm only delivering a message. I love you all. And whether you believe this or you choose not to, God loves you with an undying love. And remember, He doesn't make mistakes. Will you choose peace? Because true peace comes from knowing the living God who watches all things and listens. Make a stand for truth, for what's right. Don't be deceived with the words peaceful demonstrations when you can see for yourself that they are anything but peaceful. Not all of us out here are idiots. We can label things accordingly. God sent certain people to help us turn things around and get us out of messes that other people got us in. So pray for discernment. Ask God to show you exactly what's going on and who's behind what. In other words, who's lying, because some who are accused of lying are not. It's just the opposite. Many accusers are the liars. Others try to misunderstand, and that's why discerning these things is so important. So you know how to divide the true from the false, the holy from the profane. Now, the easy one should be the recognition of violence, where others are calling violence peaceful demonstrations. Oh, please, someone get some cold water in your face and wake up. If you know of someone who needs this message, friend, please forward it to them. I will leave you with this last thought. Don't forget how very special you are, and you have purpose. You have great purpose. You're valuable.